Hello. Welcome to another edition of whatever this is. So hopefully you can hear me. Make sure you have your Vista Mac 2 goggles on, and let's take a look at what we've got today. Oh, before that, I found this morning. It's really cool. It's mesmerizing. If you need to waste an hour staring at something, I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in this later. Okay, so what we've got on the bench today is part of the giant hoard of stuff that some guy was getting rid of. He was actually selling... Excuse me while I adjust my mic. Oh, great. No audio. That's wonderful. Okay, you should have audio. Oh, you can hear me. Good. All right. So, did everybody miss my introduction? Of course, I was eloquent. Everything was well said and spoken. I guess I'll have to save it for another time. Okay. Anyway, so what I've got today is, aside from a mic boom that is giving me trouble, hang on a second, and I'm getting over a cold. What I got today is part of a stash, hoard, whatever you want to call it, that an individual had. They were selling a... Oh, good. So I didn't miss the audio on the intro. Anyway, this gentleman had put up a laser writer as onto Marketplace, and I noticed he actually resides in the same town I do, and I watched him slowly drop the price down from $200 to $60. And then finally reached out to him and said, do you have a cartridge for it? How many pages has been run on it? Because they're pretty expensive. It's like $120 to get a replacement cartridge. And I told him, I said I'd think about it. So I happened to notice that he'd been selling off some stuff periodically. And it wasn't really anything I was interested in, but I told him, I says, hey, I noticed that you've been selling off some stuff. If you're downsizing or something, here's the kind of thing I'm looking for. And gave him a list. Basically, I told him anything that runs HyperCard. And he responded back with, you must take it all for $60. It included the laser printer and about, 20 other items, including this LC II. So there's a Mac SE, several G5, several G3s, 6 laptops in various conditions, another honkin' huge cinema display. So now I've got 2 of them again. Anyway, but for $60, oh yeah, and an Xserve, an Intel Xserve. For $60, I figured, what the heck, I've got enough to mess around with for the next year. And when I go to VCF Midwest, I'll probably haul half of it with me to get rid of. So, anyway, So this is, he did tell me, he says a lot of this stuff I picked up and it's just been sitting in a basement or in storage. I haven't touched it. And you can see from the surface, it's pretty grody. Apparently, he's a musician, and so he must have been the IT person in his music department, because this is the property of the music department. Anyway, he also told me, you know, I'm still digging through before I move. I probably have some more stuff. Can I contact you? And I'm like, sure. So I've never messed with an LC2. Everything that you know, I've learned about it. Hang on a second. Let me switch to my desktop. So everything that I've learned about an LC2 tells me that it was better than the LC and worse than everything else. It was underpowered. You couldn't expand it very much. You couldn't drop a second floppy drive in it. You know, it only was marketed for a year. But, you know, it's kind of neat. It was the first pizza box that they offered. And it's cute. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at it today. I haven't done a thing with it. So, and, you know, yeah, this mouse is pretty gross too. So before we crack it open, let's see. Let me grab my mouse, my mouse pad, and who's in the chat? So Eric Wrangle, sorry, Eric. Trina's Technobabble, Galloway's Griff, okay. Bill Goats, hey. Big Bad Biologist, Big Bad Bench. The Big Bad Biologist will be streaming at noon, so please go watch his stream at noon today. Trina, already said Trina. Welcome to the Macintosh is also here. Yep, I think I covered everybody. Anyway, so yeah, this stuff is pretty gross. So let's switch back to the bench cam. There we go. This is my mouse. That's not the, and I'm gonna need that because that's how I control things. But yeah, this mouse is pretty gross too. Anyway, this cable is mine. It didn't come with it, so it's fairly clean. This was something I thought was interesting. This was in with the rest of the stuff. I've never seen a mouse by Macally, but it is a single button mouse, so third party. So I have to give that a try. Alright, so I guess these things are prone to having bad power supplies and also leaky caps. Surprise. So it's not too bad. There's some there's a little bit of rust here. The tabs are not broken. Let's see if I can show you. So there's a little bit of rust or goo or something. I haven't really touched it. These posts tend to break, I think. You know, spindler plastics, and it's broken on this corner. So this corner is not supported well. It doesn't lock down, and you may have noticed the dreaded battery is still there. However, it hasn't exploded. It also has a nice hard disk 40SC, so it's a 40. Is it a? It wouldn't be 40 gigabytes. It must be a 40 megabyte drive. Let me get a spudger, whatever these are. I don't take these off very often, so I'm not actually sure how you're supposed to. And I don't have my glasses on. Oh, I see. They've got tabs on the sides. Here we go. Did it take a certified Apple repair technician to get this off? Because apparently you can't quite get to the tab. You know what? The battery's not going back in this thing. I don't know why I care, but I don't want to break the plastic. There we go. Alright, so that came off in one piece. Yay. Let's see what we got for a battery here. It's the dreaded Maxell. I used to call them Maxwells because, you know, I can't read. It is... Let's see if it's got a date. Very tiny print. Oh yeah, 9605. So it's pretty vintage. Let's get the multimeter out and do the obligatory voltage check on them. Let's see what we get. If I could actually hold the leads. Oh, we're getting pretty good voltage here. Wait a minute. I hate this auto function feature on this. And of course I went past voltage. Let's try that again. Yeah, there's hardly any juice left in this thing. So that goes into my collection of old batteries. So what's everybody doing this morning, aside from watching me fiddle around with stuff? Ah, coffee. Yes. Must have coffee. Oh, Garth has joined us. Good morning, Garth. It's kind of early for you, isn't it? Garth is in that other time zone on the other end of the United States. Yes, thanks to the battery for not exploding. All right, so what else we got going on in here? The fan is a little gross, but that's not to be unexpected. The board actually looks in pretty good shape. It's dusty, but it doesn't look like any of the caps are really leaked. You know, maybe there's... Sorry, my microphone's in the way. Maybe there's a bit of corrosion around those, you know, that cluster of caps. It's definitely a little dirty. But we'll see. And I guess there's two power supplies that are frequently done in here. And the Aztec one tends to not be as crufty as the other brand. Don't remember the other brand off the top of my head, but that's what I learned by looking this up last night. I believe this is supposed to max out at 4 megabytes of RAM. I read somewhere that you can put 2 4s in it, but it doesn't recognize 2 megabytes of like the first stick, so that's kind of weird. Anyway, I should probably peek at this power supply to make sure it's not bleeding cap juice all over the place. Or I could just go for broke and try to start a fire. Ow. My arthritis is bugging me a little bit this morning. It looks like you need to push that out of the way to be able to get it off. Let me see if I can find a tool I can use to do that. Here, this will work. Ah, there we go. I suppose that just clips in there, and these plastic clips probably are brittle. Yeah, when you're retired, there's no sense of time, I guess. Except for daylight and nighttime. Okay, is there a trick to getting this thing out of here? Am I just not being aggressive enough? It keeps clipping back in. There we go. Ow! Really hurts to grip. So, don't get old. Stay young. Now, there's a little bit of corrosion under here. Not a great amount. So it looks like there's just this one screw holding the top on. Excuse me while I get a tool. caps around this end, so I suppose you have to take this screw out. Okay. Little plastic guard. Well, none of the caps are bulging from the top. I don't smell anything. I don't see any kind of corrosion on the board. So I'm going to say it's probably safe to fire this thing up. It's got a, what I don't know if it's the proper term, but that's a jelly bean riffa instead of the paper and plastic coated one. So hopefully it doesn't blow. So I can't tell, Trina, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I mean, you got a smiley face. Seeing me work is making you feel like going to test more DDR. I'm that boring that you need to go test memory? Thanks. Yeah, apparently most of the crudiness of this thing is on the outside of it. So it does need some cleanup. I mean, well, it goes in easier than it comes out. Okay, that's clipped back on there. All right, so I think we should try to see if we get a chime. Should I go ahead and plug in all the peripherals? Why not? So we'll plug in a keyboard. Now the back of this, it's got, you know, the usual standard components. You've got your power supply, you've got your monitor, you've got a printer and a modem, so you had 2 serial lines. You've got your external SCSI. Someone labeled these 1, 2, and 3. Speaker and microphone. This must be an expansion slot and the cover is missing. So I suppose you could put another video card in this thing, because it didn't really have all that great of built-in video. Let's see, what else do we need? I'm gonna go for broke and we'll see if we can get the video capture to work with this. Okay, keyboard. Let's use this funky mouse. So is this a 2GS keyboard? I guess it's Apple Desktop Bus keyboard. Was this a common keyboard that came with the 2GS? Maybe I got lucky there. Will the audio be wacky? There's only one way to find out, Garth. Oh, a network card with a math coprocessor socket, since Apple didn't install the socket on the logic board. Oh, that's cool. So that is a 2GS keyboard. Good, because I have a 2GS. Not to get sidetracked, but I've been struggling with getting it to boot. I've got a W drive, and I got, Adam McG was kind enough to send me his spare IDC20 to DB19 connector adapter that you need for the back. And I got that. It's a really simple thing to put together. Got that soldered together, checked it to make sure I had continuity in the right places and everything. I can't get the thing to boot. It's not recognizing the W drive. I tried a Disk 2 controller in it. That didn't work, so I'm not sure what's going on with it. Ron is I have a Apple 3.5 drive, but I didn't have a disk, and I've been struggling to try to make a disk. Anyway, Ron from Ron's Computer Videos is going to mail me a disk so that I can try that. The only thing left after that is to try to do set up an Apple share server, which I'm going to do, and then boot over the network. Kind of want to do that anyway, but I'd like to, just to make sure this thing works. But anyway, that's another project. It's really for April. No, sorry, we changed the name, or the name has changed. So April Apples. I wanted to do some HyperCard in 2GS programming, and Frank gave me a great deal on a 2GS he had, so just need to get it working. Okay, so we're going to plug power in. Oh, excuse me for dropping it. Sorry, can't see what I'm doing. I'm probably putting this in upside down. I need a different cable. And there goes the lid. Sorry, I'm working a rather tight space. So, just a second. That's not going to work. Here we go. Different power cable. Thank God for standard power cables, huh? Okay, so we have keyboard hooked up. We've got the mouse. I've got video. Let me turn on my capture card. Or switch to the capture card. Of course, you're not going to see anything because it's not powered on. I don't know if the settings are right for this, so we'll have to hope that it works. 3, 2, 1. Okay, got a beep. Got a chime. We got a white screen. Very quiet hard drive. We got a cursor. Yeah, welcome to Macintosh. That floppy drive sounded like it's pretty crufty. But it is booting. Sorry, the aspect ratio and stuff is not right on this screen. Yeah. Yeah, I'll recap it. Well, we got some stuff on here. Let me see if I can fix the video. Yeah, this is proof that I hadn't started it up yet, because oh, there. That should work. Alright, let's see what we got. We have Claris Works. Never used Claris Works before. Word processing, drawing, painting, spreadsheet, database, communications. So it's a be-all, end-all. Okay. Ooh, Finale 3.0. This was in the music department, so that makes sense. Aw, thanks, 1-bit. Oh, look at the little cursor. It's a music note. Double click to add staff, drag to move one. I know almost nothing about music, so we're just not going to mess with that. Claris Works, but then the logo is 3 interlocking gears which would instantly block each other. Yeah, I think Claris must have failed the ASFAB test. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Yeah, a lot of high schoolers back in the day used to take the ASFAB test because the military was looking for recruits. And that test required almost no effort at all to pass, but it had some mechanical tests in it, like which way does the gear turn kind of stuff. So so there's a report card, the band report card, some letterhead. Let's look at the letterhead. Waukegan Public Schools, Lincoln Center for Educational Services. So this is from Illinois. So the hard drive never got wiped. This was Fine Arts Computer number 2, apparently. Let's see what else we got on here. So Miracle. I have no idea what is Miracle. Songs. Okay, so it's more music software. I'll have to check and make sure this stuff is archived. Finale, CD-ROM title sampler, the print shop, and then documents. So there's not a lot on here. What's in the print shop? This stuff. Okay. And a few Claris Works documents. Anyway, but this thing seems to be working, so let's about this Macintosh. So we have a whopping, oh, it's using virtual RAM, so it's got 10K going here, 7.0.1. If we look at the control panels, So I thought I was gonna. Boy, this drive sounds great. I thought I was gonna have to boot from a Blue SCSI to test this thing. Okay, it's got 10 megabytes of built-in memory. I didn't think it could go up to that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I just briefly read up on it last night. Yeah. Where are the games? I don't see any games. Yeah, so I'll copy the hard drive to a SD card for a Blue SCSI before I do anything with it. Um, let's make So the sound seems to be working okay. Let's leave it at a wild eep. Oh, it's got a Moray screensaver. That's cool. Oh yeah, it's just the built-in map. Well, I'd say this is a pretty neat little machine. Yeah, I'm not going to rely on this drive working forever. So, but I'm really happy this thing seems to be working. So I'll recap it and I'll figure out what to do with it. Monitors control panel and kick up the colors by default. These boot in black and white with no pram battery. Oh, okay. That's right, I forgot this is a colored computer. So we've got 256 colors. So that's a little nicer. Oh yeah, I know the hard drive's on borrowed time. So remote CD. So they had this hooked up to a CD. Maybe. I don't know. So let's what else we got here? CD speed switch, brightness, color. General controls, keyboard. I don't mess with 7.1 very often, so monitors. Oh yeah, here. Let's make this snazzy. There you go. There we go. We got some color now. Yeah, I will back up the hard drive today. So I'm going to shut it down. We'll hope that it starts back up. The next time. Yes, that is definitely a background. It's a nightmare background, but it's a background. So, anyway, it is working, which is nice. Definitely needs a clean. This keyboard, I'm going to wash my hands after touching all this stuff. I'm not sure what, I mean, there's a little bit of rust. I got to clean this up. It definitely has seen better days as far, oh, you can't see anything. Let me switch screens. There we go. So this has seen better days. They obviously had something taped, some kind of instructions or something taped across there. I doubt very much I'm going to be able to get the Sharpie off here very easily. Give it a try though, or maybe I'll just leave it. I'll clean it up and just leave the Sharpie on there. It's part of its history, right? But yeah, not too shabby, and I didn't have to fix anything. That's always a plus. Okay. Hang on a second here. Well, I need to get a second mic. I had a second mic, but my wife didn't have a very good mic, so I gave it to her. Yeah, she needs it more than I do. So I can just adjust things. Let's switch back to the webcam. Anyway, that's really all I had to show off this morning. I guess I should be happy I didn't have to mess around with the hardware at all. So yeah, Goo Gone. I'll try that on there. Maybe this is something I'll try retrobrighting. I haven't done that before, but it's small enough, and the case is in, I mean, it's not in perfect condition, obviously, but the outer shell is in pretty good shape. It's not broken. The tabs are not broken on it. The front's intact. So I think, I think it's worth the effort. This keyboard, definitely. I like small keyboards. I don't need number pads. I mean, I learned how to type back in the dark ages when you didn't have, IBM Selectrics don't have number pads on them. So I actually use the number keys across here. Moving over to the number pad just throws me off. And I'm not doing data entry, so I'm not messing with these very much. So what I'd love to do is to make a short keyboard, make a custom ADB keyboard. I don't know, but keyboards are another thing entirely. But this is nice, and it is a couple of inches shorter than the keyboard I am using. Sorry, I keep knocking the mic. So this is the keyboard that I use for the daily driver. It's a Apple Keyboard 2, and it's okay. But my desk is fairly short, and the keyboard tray, I like to have the mouse next to the keyboard, and so it takes up space. This is the keyboard I use with my PC, so a really short one. Building custom keyboards is something that I probably would like to get into. I actually need to for a project I want to do. there. Let me see if I can find the image. Give me a second. But there's a project I'd like to do. It's a fictitious, it's called the Macintosh Pocket. It's a design engineer kind of planned it out as a I think as part of a school thing he was doing to just did images, didn't actually build anything, but it's kind of neat. And if you've ever played those Oregon Trail handheld games where you got the buttons and the screen with Oregon Trail, it's similar to that, only it's a Macintosh. So and if I could stop talking long enough to go look for images, I could show you that. I have to drill down into my projects folder and see if I can find it. Here we go. Let me switch to the desktop. So anyway, here's the concept for it, and I'm not sure how functional this would be. I don't think the trackball and the button should be next to each other like this, because I imagine holding this with my two hands and using the thumbs on the keyboard, so it's a thumb keyboard. And then if you wanted to use the trackball, you need to be able to use the, click as well. I think that the button for the trackball should be on the opposite side of the trackball to be practical. The aspect ratio for the screen's not quite right. This is square. I would do a classic screen aspect ratio on it, but you don't want it any wider than like 5 inches, or you can't get your hand around it and reach all of the keys with your thumbs. Do not want to use a BlackBerry keyboard because it's too small, and it wouldn't fit the aesthetic. It would look like a BlackBerry. So the idea here is that I'm going to I'll use a Raspberry Pi. Let me show you some of the other screen pictures. I would use a Raspberry Pi to do this. So there it is on side. And build and hand wire a custom keyboard for it. And there's enough projects out there for doing that, to do a keyboard matrix and use a Teensy to do a USB interface to it so that I could use it with the Raspberry Pi. And I'd like to learn how to build something like that, and it's pretty straightforward. So his conceptual design here has this panel in the back, and this is pretty cool. Totally impractical, right? Trying to fit a port in the back for SCSI like that. However, I think if I inverted the panel, it could be used as a stand so that you could stand it up, and then I would put USB ports in the back or something like that, and then but he went to the effort to make an advertisement for it. And you've got, clicky buttons. Anyway, I would like to build this, or something like it. So this is the Newton before the Newton. So you got your your sound volume and your headphone jack. And then on the other side, right over here is your power port. And then this must be an infrared interface, I'm not sure. Which I don't recall there being IR interfaces this early, but maybe there were. Anyway, I think that'd be a fun project. Take me some time to do it, but whoops, that's what I want to do, is build something like that. Anyway, that would be a fun project. I'll start designing it out. I'll have to build a prototype keyboard. Maybe I'll make just a small PC keyboard to start with or something like that to get the skills. But I think that would be really cool to pull out as a conversation piece, because obviously you're not going to do much on it, but you could use it for a retro gaming console or something like that. That'd be fun. So, all right, so we're approaching the hour point. I always save this for last because, you know, people sometimes get annoyed with the whole sales pitch and everything, but a couple of things that are coming up, events. Macintosh is right around the corner, so I'll be working on the adventure game that I've been working on for the last year. Hopefully I can, you know, I've got it to the point where it actually functions, so I can start showing off some gameplay and stuff like that. I need to do a demo. It's got an editor and everything, so you can build different adventure games in it. I want to leave the default game as a surprise for, you know, when it's released. So maybe I'll do some videos on just building your own game in it or something like that using the editor. It'll also be a good way to find bugs, because that's where I'm at now. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the principle of 90-90 principle. The first 90% of your development takes 90% of the time. The last 10% of your project requires 90% of the time. And that, yes, that is 180%. Every project goes over. I had anticipated spending 2, 3, maybe 4 months of my spare time doing this. I've created a monster. The application was supposed to be able to work on a Plus with 4 meg, or on a SE at least with 4 meg of RAM. It'll run. It's not usable. It's very slow. There's some things I could do with Compile-It to make the HyperCard stack perform better, but I want to get version 1.0 out sometime this year, before VCF. I plan on doing box art for it. My eldest daughter's going to help me with making a manual, and we're going to do it like a box set with discs. The sound effect files and everything, it's going to be like a 5 floppy disk set, because it won't all fit on a single floppy. And I got to work out, you know, how to do installation software for it and all that. So that's coming. But there'll be some stuff in Macintosh. The other thing that's coming up in April, we have April Apples. I want to say April's Apples, but, you know. Anyway, so everything Apple II, Apple III, Apple One, if you've got one. Anything to do with that vintage of Apple hardware and software. So that's why I wanted to get the 2GS up and running, so I could do a HyperCard on the 2GS, which is kind of cool. It's in color. That's neat. And then what else? So those are the upcoming events. In September, you've got VCF Midwest, and I'll be there. Unless, of course, something happens in between, and I can't. There's other, I think, VCF SoCal's going on right now, or it went on last weekend. There's something going on at VCF East. I don't know if it's a swap or if it's the actual event that's coming up. Anyway, and make sure you see the RetroTech Roundup. This Sunday is going to be a premiere event launching Macintosh, and there'll be a special guest, I hear. So that should be interesting. Big Bad Biologist at noon today, and I believe Tech Ambrosia is also going to have a stream tonight too. So you want to make sure you catch that. So if you like this, please hit the thumbs up and hit the bell. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit the like and hit the bell anyway, so that you can, you know, watch my streams and complain about them. I'm really good at that. If anybody wants Stickers. I have a lot of these stickers available. They're good for scaring small children and repelling rodents, so you could stick them on things. What else? So just send me a direct message, whichever way. You know, you could do it in YouTube in the comments or something like that if you want to, or if you're on Discord, you can look me up there, and just ask and I'll send you some. I have a kind of a tongue-in-cheek fake newsletter from the 90s that has alternative history in it that's 3 pages long, and I just stuff that in with the stickers, so some light reading. I have a coffee, so if you care to throw me $1 or something, please do. That helps me fund this kind of stuff. The Tech Horde was actually pretty cheap to get. He only wanted $60 for the whole thing, and I've got a year's worth of stuff to go through, so don't really need any hardware right now. It's probably going to be more stuff to repair things like cap kits and stuff. I also have a Patreon, and honestly, all the money that comes into Patreon, I turn around and send out to other patrons. So it's got, in fact, I think I send more out to patrons than I actually collect on Patreon, but it is what it is. I also have a website where I blog. I have an old blog where I used to blog, but I'm trying to use the just an HTML CSS Lite website that will work in classic browsers. So that link will be in the description. And that's it. We're at 10 o'clock. I want to thank everybody, and I will see you in the next video. So I got to reach over here. Oh yeah, the other thing I'm doing, I set up this so I could control things, and of course I set it so far away I can't reach it. In fact, I just tried to relaunch OBS. So let's do the outro. Bye everybody.